Fighting games are relatively new in the world of esports, and it's probably safe to say that the genre is still finding its feet. Street Fighter, Tekken and Dragon Ball FighterZ are all currently enjoying successful runs on the tournament circuit with the World Tour, and I believe a large reason for that is because all three of those games have exciting characters. You hear the phrase hype factor getting thrown around a lot, and there's a pretty good reason for it. People want to play with characters that get them hype, and the viewers want a reason to tune in. The audience for sitting down and watching people play games is ever growing, and nobody wants to sit down and watch boring and one-dimensional characters. Now, it's not all down to characters. The game needs to have exciting mechanics as well, but today I just want to highlight the fact that SoulCalibur 6 is around 2 months away and the roster doesn't particularly look exciting. Of course, this is all opinion based, and feel free to disagree in the comment section below, but upon first look at the roster, I'm seeing a lot of characters that I ain't too interested in personally. There's been talks of SoulCalibur 6 potentially getting a world tour, much like its hand-to-hand counterpart Tekken 7. If that does happen, then that's amazing news, because SoulCalibur usually enjoys a very brief run on the tournament circuit before quietly disappearing into the abyss. Now, looking at the current roster, I've selected the characters that I think are exciting to watch and play, and the ones that I don't think very much of personally. Just note that even if I don't think the character is particularly exciting to watch, I understand that most, if not all, are iconic to the series, so I'm not suggesting that they shouldn't be in the game. I'll also be putting a question mark on the characters that I know need to be in the game for nostalgia's sake, but also might need a bit more work done to them to be a bit more exciting.
Astaroth!
He's safe in my opinion. You need one of the big body grapplers in there, and if there's only going to be one, it might as well be Astaroth, since I think he's probably the most fun to watch. Besides, nothing's more fun than watching someone get salty after Astaroth has finished a basic combo on them.
Come on, let's do this.
In all honesty, I played with him for quite a while last time I had hands-on with the game, and he was quite underwhelming. I've heard that there won't be any extra guest characters upon launch, which makes this even more disappointing because someone started rumours about Roronoa Zoro from One Piece, which would have been an absolutely mind-blowing addition to the game. And I also heard that Sephiroth had been considered, which would have also been an awesome addition to the game. So for me, Geralt is a no.
Roll!
Grow, for those of you that don't know, is a new addition to the SoulCalibur franchise. But personally, and I know some people ain't gonna agree with this, but I don't think he's the most exciting character to watch. Outside of his Soul Charge or V-Trigger or whatever it's called, outside of that, I don't think he's very much fun to use either. He looks cool and all, I guess, but it's just a little too anime for me. So personally, I would have put a different character in over him.
Ivy!
This place shall be your grave!
100% need this character in any SoulCalibur game. She's an OG. She has a unique way of fighting, and honestly, I think she's quite fun to watch. And before anyone says anything, I'm talking about her fighting style, and not her assets.
Killick!
I'll show you the way of the Ling Shang Su.
Killick ain't going anywhere, and anyone that suggests otherwise needs to have their copies of SoulCalibur taken from them. Moving on.
Maxi!
Fine, I'll put on a good show for you.
See, Maxi is one that I know should remain because he's a legacy character, but honestly I'm quite bored of him and the way he fights. Now admittedly I didn't get to use him much when I was last playing with the game, but I didn't have much fun watching my friends use him either.
Mitsurugi!
Mitsurugi is always fun, he's iconic, he's a samurai, he's a badass, he needs to stay.
Nightmare! Sword! Quench your thirst!
Same case as Mitsurugi really. And actually, this iteration of Nightmare seems to be the best one yet.
Songmina!
Let's get this over with!
I'm not gonna rain on Songmina's parade just yet. A lot of people have been waiting for her to come back, and she does seem like she's quite different from Killick and not just another clone character, so she's fine by me. Besides, we don't really know much about her just yet.
Sophitia!
Oh boy. this character. I'm aware that Sophitia is an iconic and important part of the story of SoulCalibur, but my god, is she boring to watch. Is she boring to use, and she is boring to fight. She's basically like Third Strike Chun-Li with regards to how many of her moves you actually use. I know she has to be in, but I ain't feeling her in this current iteration at all.
Siegfried.
Just leave me alone already.
Same case as Nightmare really. Iconic, a lot of fun to watch and use, and again, this version of Siegfried seems to be one of the best ones yet.
Taki.
You are in too deep.
Thank the heavens, Natsu is out and Taki is back in. She's been a lot of fun to play so far, and her fighting style makes for some exciting moments. Her being back in the series is only a plus as far as I'm concerned.
Talon.
Let's see which way the wind's blowing.
Ugh, Talon. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not like this character at all. I understand that she was highly requested by the fans for reasons I am never gonna know, but my god, is this character annoying. I personally am not pleased that she's in the game, but I understand why she's there.
Boldo.
You know, if I say I wanted Voldo in the game, then everybody's going to look at me pretty weird. So I'm just going to say whatever and keep it moving.
Shanghua.
You think you can keep up?
Another one that's synonymous with the series, but I just don't think she's entertaining to watch. She's like a really lame, streamlined version of Ling Xiaoyu. I'm not sure what they could do to spice her up a bit more, but she definitely needs it. I can't imagine people tuning into a SoulCalibur tournament and getting excited because Shanghua is on the screen.
Yoshimitsu.
The latest iteration of Yoshimitsu is quite honestly sick. I think they did a really good job with him, and to be honest with you, he's always been a fun character to use and watch because of how wacky he is.
Tira.
Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. Say that again.
Now at the time of this video being recorded, I didn't actually know that Tira was in, and she was going to be one of the characters that I was going to suggest needs to be in the game because they're exciting, but it looks like they've gone and put her in, so obviously this is a big plus. Tira is an awesome character, she's a fan favourite, and I'm happy to see her in there.
Zasalamel.
I knew you would say that.
This character actually has a time stop mechanic. I don't really need to say any more about him. You've already got people using him to time stop, turn to their opponents and shouting. So going from this, there's 12 characters I am personally happy to see in the game, happy to sit down and watch them. There's 4 characters that I know people want in the game and probably actually need to be in the game, but I don't personally want to see on my screen when I'm watching a tournament. And then there's 2 characters that I actually don't even want in the game, but in no way am I advocating for their removal. So currently the roster of 18 is looking a little lackluster. Rumour has it there's going to be around 20 to 22 characters in the starting roster, so with that said, I want to throw in some characters that I personally think could spice up the roster and bring it up to speed.
Cervantes.
So, you dare defy me?
This one goes without saying really. It's kind of a given at this point that Cervantes is going to end up in the starting roster unless I completely missed something. And if he doesn't, then I think a lot of people are going to be scratching their heads. I hope he does anyway, because we already had to deal with that weird situation in Tekken where Leia is only just coming out now, and people weren't cool with that. And I don't think they're going to be cool with Cervantes being DLC or coming out way later down the line, so just put him in the starting roster.
I will defeat you no matter what!
Versus Inferno.
Originally, when Inferno appeared in the first SoulCalibur, he just used the fighting styles of all the other fighters and would switch at random per round. It made sense because Inferno is the spirit of Soul Edge, but in 2018 we don't need another Mokujin in a fighting game. Street Fighter 4 put an interesting twist on a boss character using the moves of other fighters. Seth clearly copied the moves of other fighters, but they made it his own fighting style with his own versions of the moves. This is something they can do with Inferno, especially since the game is meant to take place in the past where Inferno's story was at the forefront.
Raphael.
I've wasted enough time on you already!
Raphael has always been a personal favourite of mine, and I've always felt like his fighting style has never really been appreciated enough in the series. A lot of people have been calling for Amy to be added in, but I personally don't want to see Raphael's clone over him in the starting roster. Put the original back in and let him do what he does best. I have never actually used this character for more than a match or two in the entire time I've had any SoulCalibur, but from what I understand she's super high execution with super high reward, and honestly I enjoy watching people get her more difficult stuff down, so I'd like to see her make a return as well.
Very soon now, all gods shall bow down to me! I will teach you the way true kings fight.
I am well aware that a lot of people that play SoulCalibur do not like this character because his fighting style is jarring to play against, but you'd be lying to yourself if you said this character wasn't hype. He's probably the most unique character in the entire franchise, and honestly, just look at him. He looks like a complete badass. Fitting him into the story is fine as well. Algo's story actually predates that of Soul Edge, in a time where he was known as the Hero King. Algo was able to use Soul Edge as his weapon without being controlled by it. So that would make him probably the only character in the history of SoulCalibur that's capable of doing that, but I could be wrong. He used the sword to bring about worldwide peace, but that ended when his son was possessed by the sword and Algo was forced to destroy them both. He then went on to create SoulCalibur to counter Soul Edge whenever it would reappear through history. So basically, as you can see, this character is just a bad man, and he's arguably the most important single being in the entire franchise. Earlier I said I was seriously underwhelmed by Geralt's inclusion into SoulCalibur. I also mentioned that there was a rumour flying around that Zoro from One Piece would be joining the roster. Personally, I think that would be absolutely amazing. He'd be the only fighter in the game with 3 swords. He can also switch between different styles of sword as well, which could keep his gameplay fresh and interesting per battle. For those of you that don't know, Zoro is the second in command of the Straw Hat Pirates and the first person Luffy recruited into his crew. He's taken down some of the most powerful foes in the show's history, and it's even speculated that he could be stronger than Luffy. Besides, could you imagine a One Piece stage in SoulCalibur? Namco, if you're listening, just put him in the game and I'll never ever ask you to put Jinpachi in Tekken 7 again, because I know you've been getting my emails. Now I realise I probably picked too many characters to go into the game, because the starting roster is probably going to have 2 to 5 more characters than what we've already seen, but those to me are the best possible additions. So do you guys agree? Who would you like to see added to SoulCalibur? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below and let's discuss. Till next time guys, peace.